And what is up, DTV? Once again, I am Eric, Dave's friend, and I am going to be reviewing episode 6 of Game of Thrones, Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken. And the end of this episode is causing quite a stir on the internet, which I'll get to in a little bit. But first, we'll start with Arya. So she's in the House of Black and White, and she's cleaning up bodies, and she's been doing this for a while. So she talks to one of the girls who's also there. I think the character's name is Waif. She says, "Why am I doing this? What's going on?" And the girl is just like, "Get back to work. You're not ready. Get back to work." And she insists, "What is going on? Why do I have to keep doing this?" And then she asks the girl, "Why are you here?" So the girl tells her this whole sob story of how she's there. And it's a really sad story, but at the end of it, she says to Arya, "Did you believe everything I just said?" Indicating that what she said was all a lie. So later on, Jaqqa Hagar is playing this game of lies with Arya. And every time she says a lie, he slaps her. Gives her a hard slap. And the part of it that I did like is when she gets around to the Hound. And she says to him, "I didn't kill the Hound because I wanted him to suffer." And boom, he slaps her. Which she might not realize it deep down. Kind of shows everyone that in the end, she didn't truly hate the Hound anymore. At least not the way she did when she first met him. For what he did to the butcher's son. And then, later in the episode, Arya is sweeping up, and a father brings his daughter to the House of Black and White to die. He says, "I've taken her to every healer. She's just suffering and it needs to end." So Arya goes over and talks to the girl. Makes up this fantastic lie of how her father brought her there, and with this water, she was healed. Now the water, of course, will kill you and end your suffering, so obviously the girl takes the water and dies, and in the next scene, you see Arya with the body. And Jaqqa Hagar was finally impressed with her, at least enough that he brings her into this chamber with these just hundreds and hundreds of faces all around. It was pretty creepy, to be honest. And he says to her, "You're not ready to be nobody yet, but you are ready to be someone else." So obviously she's going to have some kind of a transformation, which should be fun to watch. So next I'll get to Dorne. Not my favorite part of the episode, but so Marcella is with her intended, the young Martell boy. They're making out. Enter Bronn and Jaime, who, of course, Jaime's there to rescue his niece. Yeah. And she's like, "Uncle Jaime, what are you doing here? I don't know anything about this." And her intended, Tristan, his name is, gets pissed off, and Bronn ends up knocking him out. And right as Jaime's about to take Marcella, enter the Sand Snakes. To be honest, the Sand Snakes haven't really impressed me much. I mean, I'm sure in the books they come off much better, more sinister, I'm sure, but on the show they kind of just sort of like these young girls are just not trying to act tough. I mean, honestly, I could take all three in a fight, to be honest. It's the truth. But anyway, they start fighting, and then in the end, the main Dorne guard comes, stops it all, makes them all drop their weapons, takes everybody, takes Laria Martell, who was Oberyn's lover, who sent the Sand Snakes to take Marcella, and they're all taken. We'll see what happens with that. But as I said, Dorne hasn't really impressed me much. So next I'll get to Tyrion and Jorah. And they're talking, and Tyrion gets around to telling Jorah that his father is dead, which Jorah did not know. And Jorah's father, of course, was the former Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. So he is completely devastated. He asks Tyrion how. And Tyrion tells him the truth. There was a mutiny. His own men did it. With no words, he's just completely devastated. Fantastic acting by the actor. And you could just see he's just devastated. It was a sad. So later in the episode, they're walking, and Tyrion makes a funny kind of point. He's like, "What makes you think Daenerys is going to be such a good queen? Targaryens are all known for being insane. Their father loved burning people for pleasure." And they see this big ship. It's a slaver ship, and Jorah says, get down, but it's too late. A whole bunch of slavers come up behind them and take them. And it's funny because the head slaver is Mr. Echo from Lost, who was one of my favorite characters from that show. And they're about to execute Tyrion, and they want to take his penis and sell it to someone who buys penises. It's kind of weird. And Tyrion, though being Tyrion, uses his intellect and says, how are they going to really know I'm a dwarf if they don't see me? They have to see me because my penis looks the same as everyone else's. And Mr. Echo lets him live. And then Mr. Echo lets it known that Daenerys is opening the fighting pits again. And Tyrion says, guess what? This guy is a great warrior. You should take him there. He will make you a lot of money. And Mr. Echo agrees to it, and it looks like they're all headed to Marine, which should be interesting. Next, I will get to King's Landing. A lot of stuff happened in King's Landing. Littlefinger arrived, and he's confronted by the Faith. Lance Lannister is like, things have changed in this city, and you better watch yourself. Then he starts talking to Cersei, and he's like, look, I know where Sansa Stark is, which Cersei immediately wants to just go in and kill her because she thinks she helped kill Joffrey. But he's like, listen, Roose Bolton and Stannis are going to have a battle. Whoever's left standing, let's take them out. Because he wants to be the Warden of the North, which would give him a lot of power being the head of the Eyrie and being the Warden of the North. So Cersei agrees to it. And then later in the episode, the Queen of Thorns has arrived, Orlania Tyrell, because her son Loras was arrested. So she's talking to Marjorie, Marjorie's my favorite female character on the show. I'm a big fan of the actress, and she played Anne Boleyn on The Tudors. If you have not seen The Tudors, highly recommended. Her performance was amazing. The Queen of Thorns is telling Marjorie that everything's going to be okay. The Queen of Thorns goes to talk to Cersei, and they're trying to one-up each other, but Cersei's not really having it. Cersei's just like, look, I didn't do this. Everything's going to be fine. It's not really a trial. It's just going to be a little inquiry, and it's all going to be settled, knowing deep down what she really wants to happen is Loras to be arrested and tried and, I guess, killed. So then the inquiry goes on, and Loras, of course, denies everything. They question Marjorie, which she's shocked about, and says, do you have any knowledge of him being with men and all these other misdeeds that he supposedly has done? And she's like, no, I don't know anything about this. So they're about to get up and leave, thinking that's the end of the inquiry. There's no proof. Enter Loras' lover from the beginning of the season, who Marjorie walked in on, has been captured, and he tells them, I have been with Loras sexually. I can prove this because I know he has a certain birthmark on his body. So the High Sparrow deems that there is enough evidence for a trial. But not only is Sir Loras going on trial, he also arrests Marjorie, the Queen, for perjury. And she's just yelling, Tommen, Tommen, and poor Tommen is just dumbfounded. He doesn't know what to do. He's not really much of a leader. Cersei the whole time is just eating it all up. This is what she wants to happen, even though she was playing along like she didn't. And right now, it looks like she has the upper hand, but, we'll see what happens. So that's what's going on in King's Landing. And finally, Winterfell. Okay, so Ramsay's beautiful but sadistic girlfriend, Miranda, comes into Sansa to give her a bath. And as she's giving her this bath, she goes into detail of what's happened to Ramsay's other girls, how one got pregnant and one was too nice and even let me go hunt with her, and is trying to really scare her. But Sansa picks up on the fact that Miranda loves Ramsay for whatever reason and says, listen, I am Sansa of House Stark, and you cannot scare me. She actually showed a little backbone, which was good to see. So Miranda leaves pissed. Then Theon comes in after Sansa gets dressed for the wedding. And he's like, I'm here to escort you. Will you please take my arm? She's like, I'm not touching you. I don't care what happens to you. So they go down the aisle for her to marry Ramsay. And the wedding goes off. She kind of hesitates to say, I do. But in the end, she does do it. And, they get married. Then enter Ramsay's bedchamber. And this is when it got kind of disturbing. So Ramsay starts talking to her. Why are you still a virgin? Like, what's going on? And she's like, Lord Tyrion was very nice to me. He wouldn't touch me if I didn't want him, and this and that. And then finally, he says, take off your clothes. We're going to do this. And then Theon gets ready to leave. He's like, no, Reek, you're going to sit here and watch this. Then he gets really, really pissed, Ramsay, and shows the disgusting lunatic that he is. He rips off her clothes, bends her over, and starts engaging in intercourse with her. And this is seen as caused a lot of disturbance. There's a lot of fighting going on in the message board. Some people look at it as rape. Some people don't look at it as rape. But I think you have to watch the scene, decide for yourself. But the one thing everyone, I think, can agree on, it was disturbing. Because even though the camera then panned to Theon and you just see him crying, just hearing what was going on was disturbing enough. And just seeing Theon crying was devastating as well. He's, the Theon is still in there somewhere. I really hope there's some justice with this. I mean, it just can't just keep being doom and gloom, doom and gloom. I really hope either Stannis sacks them and kills the Boltons, or Theon somehow helps Sansa out of this as best he can. I don't know, but I really hope that happens. But yeah, there's a lot of controversy going on with that ending, but watch it, see for yourself, see what you think. Yep, so that's what I thought of the episode. It was pretty good. I missed the wall stuff in the Stannis storyline, which will be in next week's episode, but overall I thought it was pretty good. But I want to thank everybody for watching this review. I want to remind everyone to watch Dave's review when he posts his review. Subscribe to DTV, and I will catch you all later. See ya.